All right, as of yesterday, I'm an official landowner in Joshua Tree, California. And the biggest question is, am I too late? Bronx, you want me to go to this? And we're off. All right, we're headed to Joshua Tree right now, and we cannot be more excited. This is Bronxy, so I plan on doing this channel to share everything that I go through along this journey with my kids. I don't have kids currently. I have him, who is almost like my kid. He is the love of my life and the best dog ever. So let's start off with the first thing, location. This is very hard to do while I'm driving and very unsafe. So I am going to see you when I get there. Peace. So a lot of people are buying land / buying homes in Joshua Tree to do Airbnb. I know that this is a popular trend right now, but I wanted to explain my reasoning behind why I am doing it and why I'm super excited to go on this journey. Airbnb market in Joshua Tree has exploded in the last year. A lot of it is due to COVID. People can now work from home, and domestic travel has increased a lot since COVID. And I think that in the next 5 years, it's only going to increase. Joshua Tree being only a couple hours away from LA is a no-brainer as an investment as someone who lives in LA, because when people want to travel for the weekend, Palm Springs, Joshua Tree are great places to go visit. I know 2.4 million people in last year have actually gone to Joshua Tree to go visit. And I think that that number is only going to increase, especially in the next 5 years. I think that international travel will take kind of a back seat compared to domestic travel. We are here. Bronx, what do you think, bud? Could not be happier. And so I'm going to start this off by saying I'm not a professional investor. I am not a professional finance advisor. Everything I'm going to talk about is my opinion and is a culmination of things that I have studied and learned over the past 6 months to a year. So I think the biggest thing that's happening in our world right now is inflation. So right now they're reporting only 5.4% increase in inflation. I think that number is more like 20%. Stocks are up, crypto is up, real estate is up. Those are all signs of inflation. And I think the most staggering number, 40% of the US dollar in existence currently was produced in the last 12 months. I'm gonna say that again. 40% of the US dollar in existence was made in the last 12 months. If that's not a sign of inflation, I don't know what is. So the worst thing in my opinion right now is to have money in the bank. I'm going to use the money I have in the bank to buy assets that produce cash flow. That is my only objective in life right now. Acquire assets that produce cash flow every month. I want, best advice I've ever heard. Hear this out, ready? I want all my appreciating assets to pay for my depreciating assets. I want rental income coming in every month that will pay for my car payment. Anything that's not producing me cash flow, I want it to be paid by things that are bringing me cash flow. All the money that I make is going right back into real estate, right back into these Airbnb projects that I want to do. So that's my spiel on where we are at in the world right now, finances, etc. Again, I want to emphasize this. I am not a professional. I am new into real estate. I am new into investing. This is all brand new to me. So do not take anything I say as fact or that I know things that people don't, because this is all a mixture of things that I have studied and researched that is real to me, and that's why I'm documenting it. Come here. Oh, good boy. We're here. We made it. This is the second time. Hey, you, out of my shot. Come here. Come here. What made me choose Joshua Tree? First, location, right? I wanted to get into real estate. I wanted to get into short-term rentals. I wanted to get into flipping. I didn't know where to start. One day I was surfing YouTube and I came across this guy named Rob Built. Shout out Rob Built. Let's put his stuff around here. That guy's awesome. I can't skip over the fact that Rob has inspired me to do this, so I wanted to give credit where credit's due. Difference between me and Rob. Rob's funnier. I'm not that funny. Rob has sweet hair. We both like Chipotle, but I have Bronxy.
And so that's what matters, I guess. The biggest thing, as you know, is location. I chose Joshua Tree, kind of sold after Rob was talking about the benefits of Joshua Tree and his experience with it. Next was really learning about getting a property.
Why do I want to buy a lot in Joshua Tree and not buy a house? Right now, all the homes in Joshua Tree are going for $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 for homes that were built in the last 30 plus years. None of the homes are something that I typically or would want to stay in as an Airbnb. So number one reason was the homes that are currently built right now are not my design and not my aesthetic. Second reason is that I love the creative process. I wanted to build a home from scratch and add and put my own creative juice and aesthetic into it. I love the idea of creating something from nothing. As an artist, I get to do that all the time with the projects I work with my clients on. However, this is going to be such a fun ride for me that I'm going to enjoy it. I think, and I'm a firm believer, that the process is more fun than the end result. I'm going to enjoy every single moment of this process of designing, building, creating this Airbnb experience for guests to stay in for years to come. Third and more, I guess, rational decision is that the prices in California are inflated. So let's say you buy a house for $400,000 and the market corrects 50%, which is an insane amount. But let's say it corrects 50%, that house is now worth $200,000. You have now lost $200,000 in your investment. For that to go back up to the purchase price of $400,000 will take a very long time. Compared to if you build a home. If you build a home, you're still gonna spend a lot of money because the cost of building in general right now is so expensive. At least if the market corrects, you're going to have a new home, a modern aesthetic, and everything that you would need for that resale value to still stay high. And those are the reasons why I am buying a lot and building a home rather than buying a home already built and renovating. There are tons of investors that are more experienced than me. All I am doing is documenting this for myself and for my kids so that they can learn the good and the bad of my experiences. I am going to stop and just say, yeah, that's new. I'm growing this puppy out. I'm getting a lot of hate for it from my family, but I think I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep on shaving this and just grow out this bad boy. Never had a mustache, but I like it. I'm gonna keep it.
I think the first thing that I learned while researching and doing my homework, when getting a lot in Joshua Tree, you wanna look for electricity and water. So I spent about a week and a half researching different listings, finding out different lots that had water and electricity. I reached out to a couple of realtors. I ended up getting on the phone with one realtor that I really, really liked, kind of walked me through the different lots that he has available. I contacted my friend Clayton Wood, who is a real estate agent in Los Angeles, and I said, hey man, thinking about getting a lot. I'd love to go down and have you help me handle all the logistics. This being my first lot, I didn't know what went into it from a contract standpoint or a realtor standpoint, so I made sure I brought Clayton. We went to go see 5 different lots. All of them had electricity and water, but before I went to go see all 5 of them, I made sure I did my research in what to look for. When you're learning about a specific area, be a sponge, take in as much knowledge. This is very tiresome on my knees. I don't know why I set up this way. I'm gonna move it so that I can just sit down and talk. Hold on. All right, so much better. First thing I learned about after water and electricity, which were the 2 most important things, were placement of the Joshua Tree. If you have Joshua trees where you wanna build, having to move them is a pain. You get fined if you don't do it the right way. The whole thing is kind of a disaster. So I wanted to make sure I found a lot that had the Joshua trees kind of placed in the right place. So after looking at 5 different properties, I found the right one. This is it. I absolutely love it. It has a U driveway, which I love. There is a house right there with electricity. The main line is right here, which I knew was going to allow me to get water here super quickly and easily and cheap. And the trees were exactly in the right places. I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better layout. There's this middle part right here that we're sitting on right now. I'm gonna talk more about the financials and a little bit other part of this process. But first, I come from a videography background, so I can't do a video without making a little cool cinematic sequence. So, without further ado, Bronxy, get over here. Bronxy, get over here. Try this one more time. Bronxy, get over here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here, come here, come here, come here, come here. Without further ado, Cue cinematic sequence! Woo! Go.
So next, I kind of want to tell the process of how it went from finding the lot to closing the lot and now having the deed of the lot and able to start actually making the moves I need to make to build this home. I found the lot, as I already said, I'll do this really quickly. I found 5 lots, all of them had water and electricity. I went with my buddy Clayton to look at all 5 of them. We arrived at the final lot and I fell in love with it. Water and electricity adjacent to the property, great views, and it was perfect. It was listed at $50,000. I then went home, talked to Clayton. We put in an offer for $42,000. Here is the important thing. Banks, I won't say will never, but it is very hard to finance buying a lot just because you can't really appraise land without a structure there. Because typically when you do appraisals, you look at comps. And when you look at comps or comparables, it's hard to appraise just land. So it's hard to get financing on just a lot. Here is a side note. When you are doing a construction loan or when you are doing a loan, you can then use that land that you bought in cash as your down payment. The house that I'm gonna build is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. It's gonna be around $200,000 to $300,000 to build. I can use the land that I've purchased as the equity and the down payment in that construction loan. So I don't have to put another 20% down on my construction loan. I can simply use the land that I already own as my down payment. Now, I'm gonna get into my construction loan in later videos. I'm gonna do a construction to perm loan, which is basically you lock in at a certain interest rate, blah, 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 blah. I will talk about it all later. But process of buying this lot was actually pretty simple. We put in the offer for 42. They countered at 45. I then agreed at 45. I set in a deposit. At that moment, I then was able to do my due diligence. I talked to the Joshua District Water Basin, with District Water Basin, Water District Joshua Basin, Joshua Tree Water Basin District, something like that. Called them. They confirmed that there was a water line adjacent to the property, which was perfect, so I could tap into the main water line. I also called Edison and talked to them about getting electricity from the neighbors, doing an easement, bought the lot, did my due diligence. Everything came back great. I then was ready to close. Signed the final paperwork. Escrow company called me, said, send in the last wire, sent them the last wire. I then called to confirm that they got the wire. Escrow confirmed. I then at 6 p.m. last night, get an email with the deed. So I, as of yesterday, am an official landowner in Joshua Tree, California, and I cannot be more excited to start this business. I am super excited because I have a fun experience. When learning about Airbnb from Rob's channel and from other channels, create an experience. So my entire objective was to then create an experience in Joshua Tree, California that wasn't just the home. I wanted to create an experience at the home that you can do that will bring guests to the Airbnb. I'm not gonna get too much into the concept yet. However, I will tell you this. Check-in is at 3 p.m. Check-out is at 11 a.m. That means in the winter, you only have 2 hours of daylight. So I'm utilizing the majority of your stay in an Airbnb for the experience. None of you guys will be able to guess it, or some of you guys will be able to guess it. If you can guess it, comment below what you think your guess is. However, This was inspired by a different place. I'll give you, this is a hint. It was inspired by a different hotel or place that I have visited that I think is a phenomenal idea. And so I'm bringing that to Joshua Tree. That is the only thing I'm saying about my experience. And the biggest question is, am I too late? Has the wave of Joshua Tree Airbnbs come and gone, and am I just on the peak of it? And when it's finally built in 9 to 12 months, will I be too late? My answer to that is maybe. I know that's not a good answer, but I think that the idea and experience will surpass and put me in the top 5 to 10% of Airbnb. I'm very optimistic. However, it's a gamble, right? That's why it's called investment. I'm super excited though. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Tons of investors that are building / buying homes in Joshua Tree to Airbnb. There are tons of Airbnbs there already. So it is a saturated market, and I think that it's only gonna get even more saturated. I think that the number one thing that you can do when doing an Airbnb is create an experience. I am an official lot owner in Joshua Tree, California, and I cannot be more excited. Yeah. And so me and my mustache are going to see you in the next video. I just hired an architect, and so the next video will be about my design of my home. So stay tuned. Peace.